I read your book, Love Warrior, and the idea of going through this process of life and relationships and love and the way you synthesize it and the way you speak about it is so beautiful to me. And it was different than anything I had ever read before. And I just want you to know, like, it touched my heart. And I know you've touched so many people. When did you start writing all these feelings? Because I know you're a mom with a couple of young kids.
Like dripping with children all the time.
I feel the same.
Yeah.
I have so many kids.
It's like too much, not enough, all the things all at once. So I started writing Love Warrior, actually, right after my marriage just imploded. So I was in therapy, and my husband told me that he'd been unfaithful throughout our whole marriage. And I was just completely blindsided by it. You know, when you're a mom and you go through something like that, you just don't even have time to process it. Because there's still all the various people who need all the things and the snacks and the field trips and
snacks.
You know, I mean, nobody ever stops asking for snacks, even if you're in the middle of a tragedy.
And you're so busy taking care of other people's needs that I don't think you have time to process a lot of these deep, like, feelings that you're having.
Which is actually really, now that I think about it, super problematic for women, right? Because you have to process it to get past it. So I remember reading the Virginia Woolf and said every woman needs a room of her own, and I didn't have a room of my own because I was living in this very small house. So I started getting up really early and writing in my closet. Like 5 in the morning, it was the only time where I could break down and rage and feel all the feelings. I mean, I felt so much shame because it was all public, and I felt so much fear about the future. And
so your divorce was very public in your community? Is that what you're saying? Or because you had a blogger community?
Yeah, and I was like a mommy blogger. Like I was like a Christian mommy blogger back then.
Monastery.
Right. So up until then, I had been like this truth teller. That was my thing. I was just, talking about the good parts of parenthood and the bad parts. But now there was this thing in my life that affected Craig too, and the kids too, and I couldn't process it publicly because that wouldn't have been fair to them in real time.
Right.
So I'd get up every morning and just rage in my closet, and that was like my time on the computer. That was my time to get it all out.
Yeah.
And then I remember a few months in, my editor wrote to me, and she said, "How are you?" And I hate that freaking question because like, what?
You're
Like,
just
how am I
gonna cry.
this minute? Or how was I 3 hours ago?
Yeah,
or
don't ask.
How will I be by 7 p.m.? Like, I don't understand that question. Which is why everyone just says fine, right? And lies. So I just sent her like a few pages of this ragey journal. I was like, you wanna know how I am? Here's how I am.
Yeah, thanks for asking.
Yeah, and she read it and was like, eventually this will be a book.
Wow.
So it took me years to get it to the place where it was no longer a ragey journal and was a memoir that, I think applies to everybody and not just me.
Let me ask you, like, having kids and being so honest about your life and blogging about your life, and your kids are there and they're still young kids. Was that difficult for you to talk so honestly about your life when it might affect their lives, their development?
If I didn't want to talk about my life openly because of my children, I think that would inherently mean that I had some kind of shame about my life. Like, my job is not to teach my children, like, model this fake idea that we have of what a perfect life looks like.
Right. Well, I love what you say about going through pain. You can't skip over it. You can't go under it. The pain is part of your life experience. It's part of the beauty of your story.
I stayed in my marriage for a long time because I have this middle child who's super sensitive. She's just all feelings, you know? And I've told myself forever that she was overly sensitive and that she couldn't handle life, and so I protected her from everything. And I was certain that a divorce would take her out. It would break her. And one day I remember looking at her and thinking, I'm staying for her, but would I want this marriage for her?
Right.
If she were sitting across from me telling me my own story, what would I tell her to do, right?
That's an incredible exercise.
Yeah, and so I thought, it's not our job as mothers to be martyrs. It's not our job to show our kids how to slowly die.
Yeah.
It's our job to show them how to live bravely and follow our truth and live fully.
Yeah.